Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. I think we are on mute, it seems.
Are we audible, Mr. Prem Singh?
Yes, we are. Now you are.
Welcome. Goa welcomes you.
Thank you, thank you.
So, thanks to Arjun and the EC of Goa, they have started with the engagement exercise. And thank you for joining us early. So, you will enjoy this engagement, a very engaging session led by Arjun. Over to Arjun, please.
Mr. Prem Singh, may I request you to please go to this website called menti.com, menti.com, and there's a code which I'll request you to put in. It's 15342016. Menti.com. So whatever you're going to respond from there, we'll see it live here.
Okay.
Yeah, 15342016. Okay, your first question is, what's your favorite movie that you have viewed for training and leadership? And what we see out here is the various responses that are coming up. Chakde, Three Idiots, Pursuit of Happiness, Lagan, Ultras, 12 Angry Men, Sisters Act, Three Idiots, Godfather, 300. Okay, awesome. So the next question is, if you could have dinner with one leader, living or dead, who would that be? If you could have dinner with one leader, living or dead, who would that be? Okay, we see this. Mr. Modi, Mr. Obama, Mr. Subhash Chandra Bose, Mr. Ratan Tata. Someone's written Sachin, I'm guessing that's Sachin Tendulkar. So by a huge margin, our Prime Minister definitely wins, and so we know which way the polls are going to swing already. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the next one. We've got 86 responses in fab, absolutely awesome. If artificial intelligence gave you one superpower, what would that be? If artificial intelligence gave you one superpower, what would that be? To know the future, secret to immortality. We're very close to reading minds, by the way. A lot of people are responding saying, I'd like to be able to read minds, but we're already testing something like that. Someone's written reverse aging. Check out this website called fountainlife.com. Fountainlife.com. Okay. For employment for the right person, you come to us, my match. Okay. But the next one, ladies and gentlemen, what's your favorite HR tool or app? What's your favorite HR tool or app? Some people are still not participating. May I request you to please pull out your phones and join? Okay, so this is a word cloud as you see it. It's very interesting. The name which comes up more often, you'll see it more towards the center. Yeah. Darwin Box, LinkedIn, Success Factors, SAP, Keka. Power BI. Someone's written WhatsApp also. Okay, let's move to the next question. So this is a question which you need to respond. Nothing's coming up on screen, just your name, email ID, and phone number. We need that. And everyone should please enter their own name, email ID, and phone number. Name, email ID, and phone number. Okay, we've got only 40 responses. I'm just going to ensure that we get everyone's responses there. By the way, we had 179 people register for this event. And you can see it's a packed hall. Okay, so 66 people have responded and 71. And with that, we go to the next question, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this or that. These are quick rapid fire questions, flexible hours or remote work. This or that, flexible hours or remote work. Okay, flexible hours is winning by a huge margin. Let's go to the next question. Team building activities, outdoor adventure or indoor setting. Here in Goa, thank God, nobody said indoor setting, but we are sitting indoors. 77 to 4. Wow. Okay, this or that, automated HR processes or personal touch. The human in HR is still there. Okay. Office attire, casual dress code or formal attire. Interesting. We're living in interesting times. Okay, formal attire wins right now. And interestingly, in Goa, I only wear shorts. Okay, performance management, annual reviews or continuous feedback. Wow, people didn't even think about that. I mean, it's like continuous feedback all the way through. Awesome. And rank the most important trends in shaping the future of HR. Rank the most important trends in shaping the future of HR. And you must watch the screen after that because the ranking changes in real time. It's very interesting. Okay. The last question right now, before we get started, rank the skills most important for HR professionals. Rank the skills most important for HR professionals. A close call between problem solving, communication, empathy. Wow. Okay, so no one can decide between problem solving and empathy. It's a very close one. I hope you guys had fun. Yes? Okay, now we get started. May I invite Mr. Aman Rajabali to please help with the code of conduct.
Namaskar, Adam. गोवा में नमस्कार है, आपका भी स्वागत है। आप ही लोगों को स्वागत कर रहे हैं। क्या करें? We will. This is a standard practice that we have and very accurate to the association. We have come up with a code of conduct. This is not only for our community, but for all the HR professionals that we have. And whenever we come up with this kind of programs, we start it with the code of conduct और उसके बाद में बाकी सब कार्यवाही होती है. So I will repeat this. I will say this. And you guys repeat it. Okay? Done. ठीक है जी. So please switch off your mobile phone. Unless we have a damn good ringtone, इसके ऊपर dance कर सकते हैं. तो अलग बात है.
We'll stand up, we'll rise for the.
I will strive to meet the highest evolving standards of competence in the profession and add value to organizational success. I will deal with all stakeholders with utmost integrity and create an environment of trust leading to ethical success of my organization. I will ensure that I am always reliable and consistent in all my actions by accepting responsibility for my decisions and actions, thereby creating credibility for my profession and myself. I will be objective in all my actions and decisions and foster fairness with firmness. I will conduct myself in a way that facilitates growth and development of all those I am responsible for. I will strive to be a role model for all others and champion exemplary practice of the HR profession. I will respect the rights of privacy. Will not use my position for personal gains and ensure that there is no conflict of interest in what I do with any of my stakeholders. You may kindly sit down now. Thank you, Chief. Hello.
Hello and good afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the Goa team. There are some important gentlemen who I would like to first welcome. Our Honorable National President, he joined us live on Zoom. We've seen him some time back. So I welcome him along with Dr. D.N. Rao. From the National NHRDN team, network team, we have Mr. Dhananjay Singh. Dhananjay Singh, can you please show up your hand here? I welcome Dhananjay Singh. Also from the National Secretariat, we have Mr. Anand Kaur. We have Ms. Usha Singh. She is amongst us sitting here. She is the National President West. This Goa chapter is being launched by chapter from Pune. So we have Mr. Aman Rajapalli, who is here from the Pune chapter. He's already done the code of conduct. Uh, for any organization to start and to stand firm, we need a very big, very strong backbone. And that backbone for the Goa chapter provided by the Goa Institute of Management. And we have this. We also, I mean, this the backbone to be heavily supported by a very good sound, healthy body, and that healthy sound body possibly can be the government of Goa. And from the government of Goa side, we have the Commissioner of Labor and Employment, Mr. Raju Gawas, who is here for this. I welcome you there. We also have, we are also privileged to have Assistant Collector North Goa, Madam Ayushi Kumari, who is sitting here right in front of us. There are many more guests, important dignitaries to welcome. I'd like to just add Mr. Agnivesh Thakur, who is the president of the National NHRDN Network. And then we have very important guests, the panelists, will be introduced and welcome in due course of time. But initially, I would please like to welcome all of these gentlemen, the important dignitaries as well as the national office bearers to come up here for the lighting of the traditional lamp for the inaugural. And when I say that, I once again extend a very warm welcome to all of those who are present here to witness this historic event of happening. Thank you very much. The Goa team. May I request the Goa team to please also come on.
Good afternoon, everybody. I take this honor to invite our president, Mr. Prem Singh, Group HR, CHRO, JK Organization, New Delhi. Mr. Prem Singh is the president and Group HR of JK Organization, New Delhi, and also serves as the current national president of NHRDN. He brings with him 32 years of multifaceted experience, including international assignments, to the panel. He is known for his contribution in terms of HR, corporate communications, PQM, Lean, CRM, and is also a certified black belt in Six Sigma. He is an executive coach and also a certified Marshall Goldsmith and a strength coach trained by Gallup. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So we request you to address the gathering, please.
Okay, thank you. So, Professor T.V. Rao, founder and the former national president of National HRD Network. Mr. Raju Gavas, Commissioner of Labor and Employment, Government of Goa. Ms. Ayushi Kumari, IAS, Collector of North Goa. Dr. Ajit Parulekar, Director of Goa Institute of Management. The leadership team of Goa Institute of Management, leadership team of National HRD Network, distinguished guests, business leaders, HR leaders, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all of you to this momentous occasion, which I personally wanted to witness in person, but I had to travel, therefore I'm joining virtually. But it's so exciting to witness this online that we are seeing the reality of Goa Dream. Friends, a word about National HRD Network, and this is more important for the students to know. National HRD Network is the most premium body of HR professionals in the country. It's a non-profit organization which relentlessly has been working for the last 35 years in the pursuit of human capability development in the country. And we are lucky to have Professor T.V. Rao himself joining us virtually. Professor Rao, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. National HRD Network has been working very closely with several academic institutions, and we firmly believe that as a non-profit body, as a body committed for the human development in the country, we must elevate the pitch for student community and we must prepare them for future. That is where National HRD Network has been working with corporates, with academic institutions, private sector, public sector, government agencies, and everyone. In fact, inclusive approach of working towards the human capability development is one of our major focus areas. Hence, Goa has been a dream for us for many reasons. Number one, if you look at the geography of Goa, on the east, the nearest chapter that you see is in Hyderabad, National HRD Network chapter, which is about 650 kilometers away from Goa. If you look at north, we have Pune chapter, which is about 450 kilometers from Goa. If you look at south, we have Bangalore chapter, which is about 560 kilometers. That to me presents enormous opportunity for Goa chapter to cater to the industries, academic institutions, MSME sector, academia, students community, and therefore the opportunity is really so huge. And for that, I like to compliment the Goa Institute of Management team for having taken this initiative, and I would request everyone to give them a big round of applause. Friends, let me talk about another opportunity which Goa presents for all of you. Look at the industrial landscape that is surrounding Goa. Goa is perhaps the first national HRD network that we will have, which is a perfect combination of tourism, hospitality, and business. In fact, the first location, which is a very attractive destination for tourism and hospitality, is Goa. And the fact that you are establishing a chapter in Goa, that is going to cater to a very large opportunity of serving the industry, tourism industry, hospitality industry. That's number one. Number two, you also have a cluster of large number of companies operating in the pharma domain. There are many pharma companies, large size, medium size, and small size. And if you look at the current focus of the government on tourism, on hospitality, and on pharma, I think these are growing sectors, particularly in view of the APIs and intermediates becoming a very major focus for the government. Pharma sector is going to blossom, and there are large number of pharma players, not only in Goa, but also in the surrounding areas like Daman. Similarly, the other areas like Hubli, like Belgavi, Udupi, Mangaluru, these are another destinations, another city locations which could be catered to by Goa chapter of National HRD Network. So friends, the opportunity for Goa is real, and opportunity is in several cities and several sectors of economy. I'm glad that the Goa chapter has a power of industry and also academia behind this. And I would like to compliment the director of Goa Institute of Management, Dr. Parulekar, for having taken this initiative and working very closely with the industry to realize this. I'm very happy to introduce to you the executive committee members who will be spearheading this chapter. And I would request everyone to give all of them a big round of applause. So the president will be Dr. Anamika Sinha, supported by the other EC members, Mr. Arjun Khanna, Mr. Yogesh, and Mr. Shailendra, and many other members who will be working very closely with this team. I also like to acknowledge a huge part that has been played by the National HRD Network team members. For example, Mrs. Usha Singh, who is the regional president for West. Mrs. Usha Singh is the member on the board of NHRDN, and she comes from Manganese Ore India Limited, very prominent public sector. Second, our National Secretary Anand Khot, who has worked very closely with the team. Aman Rajabali, who is Pune chapter president, who has supported the dream right from beginning and to realize the dream into a reality. Dhananjay Singh and his team, who have supported this entire mission from the day one. So friends, congratulations to all of you. You have worked on a dream which was realized in a record 90 days time. Congratulations and wish you all the very best. Finally, before I close out, I would like to request Aman Rajabali, who is our Pune chapter president, to play the role of mentor to the new chapter of Goa. And I'm sure with the leadership of Aman Rajabali, this chapter in Goa will have tremendous support of experience and tremendous support of youth who is working under the leadership of Aman Rajabali. With this, I wish everyone the very best. I once again acknowledge the presence of Professor T.V. Rao, who is witnessing and blessing all of us, and everyone present here. To the students, I would like to say just one thing. Friends, National HRD Network presents to you several opportunities of mentoring and access to a large pool of HR leaders who could become your guides, who could become your mentors, who could support you in your learning and development journey. Make the best use of the opportunity that you have. In fact, there are some live examples of some of the National HRD Network office bearers who became the member of National HRD Network during their student days, and today they are shining examples of success. For example, Agnivesh Thakur. Agnivesh Thakur is currently our national treasurer. He became a member of National HRD Network during his post-graduation when he was a student at SIBM, and he has done very well for himself. Similarly, Akhilesh Jukareddy, he is another young leader who also became a member during his college days. So becoming a member, availing yourself the membership of National HRD Network provides you the access to a large number of resources, large number of opportunities that National HRD Network presents to all of you. I would urge all of you, all the students, to make the best use of this opportunity. All the best. God bless all of you. Thank you very much.
I come back again. एक हिंदी में ऐसा कहा जाता है, नाम खुदा का ले सबक शुरू कर बिस्मिल्लाह, ऐसा बोलते हैं. Start anything good. इत्तेफाकन मेरा जो HR का करियर था, it started at IPR, and in the first lecture, Dr. Bukwatkar asked me, "Have you heard of a gentleman called Dr. T.V. Rao?" मैं तो यार 1992 में I was a mere student and I had not heard of him, so I simply said, "I don't know." So then he told me, "Yes, you will, because now we're getting into HR." And it is my privilege, sir, to briefly introduce you to our audience. Dr. T.V. Rao is the reason why we all of us are here, because he is the gentleman, he along with the late Dr. Uday Parikh and a couple of their colleagues started the National HRD Network in Ahmedabad. So thank you, please. He is also called the father of HRD in India. Most of the HR professionals who have studied HR, unlike me, so आप लोगों ने उनकी किताबें पढ़ के आप बड़े हुए होंगे. Dr. T.V. Rao is the founder and the first president of National HRD Network. He has extensive experience in HRD and has contributed to key nation building initiatives. He is known for his leadership development methodology and has authored over 60 books on various HR related subjects. So thank you, sir, for gracing this event and blessing us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all your kind words, Prem. And I'm very happy to see the GIM team with Ajit, Tanamika, and all the others. And I'm particularly happy that the government is represented in this particular meeting. I think I must say this will then be one of the very unusual kind of chapter beginnings with all that we wanted to have with the government, with educational institutions, with industry, with youth, and a whole lot of other people. There can't be a better beginning than this. I'll just say a couple of words about the origins of HRD network and how it has shaped and what is to be in the future. HRD network started at a time when we treated HRD as a system, as a profession, and as a set of guidelines for creating happiness at workplace. When we observed that this was not exactly happening through systems and so on, so it started as a kind of networking and sharing and learning from each other. So this body is really sharing, learning, and growing. And that is the body it has started. But today, HRD network has become totally different in the sense that the concept of HR itself has changed. In my view, human resources development or HRD doesn't anymore remain as a profession or a function. It's a way of life. It has become the job of everyone. In fact, today we say HR, I think in fact it is soon going to be simply substituted with people. There can be no business or work without people. And there can be, people won't exist without business. So these are two sides of the same kind of a coin. Work and people. I think they're becoming synonymous. I think the most important that has happened in the last 10 years, of course, more than 10 years. One is, of course, the pandemic, which has thrown life out of gear and got people to focus on things that we have not focused so far. I think the focus has now shifted to taking care of health, of self, of the family, of the community around, of the organization, of the institutions, and so on. So the person has become the focus, particularly the health. The other thing that is in the last 1 year, 2 years is totally shifting the gear is the technological developments, particularly AI. So in the light of whatever is happening in AI in the world, I think HR now takes a new avatar in terms of constantly looking for creating a better future for all of us. So creating a better future. This is not going to be the job of HR professionals alone. Although HR professionals may have a special role to play, this becomes the job of everyone. And I'm particularly happy that those of you who are present today, representing educational institutions, youth, students, government, and every sector, are the ones who can take this forward and help people to think about the future, to make the future as a great kind of a great future. I think there are a lot of interesting things that are being said. I must mention one thing. Yesterday, I was witnessing a very, very interesting thing about which I think some of the members there will speak to you. Dhananjay was there yesterday. Anand Kot was there. Aman was there, I think, in Hyderabad. There were in one auditorium, there were about 1,700 people, largely students. 1,700 people. And they had about a 4-hour session in which I think a number of people who are in their 30s and maybe at best, I think one can say early 40s, early 30s and 40s spoke about their own experiences and talked about what is going to be the kind of future opportunities with AI and other digital technology innovations that are going on. I would strongly recommend you. This is a recorded thing that is available. You go to National HRD Network, Hyderabad. There is a council called Youth Leadership Council, which is a part of the National HRD Network. So if you go to National HRD Network website, Hyderabad website, and get into this, you can watch all the 3.5 hours of deliberations. Even if you skip some of those, at least I think you spend about half an hour, 45 minutes, you'll get a view of what is it that bodies like HRD Network can do. that will give you, I think, as Prem Singh ji has mentioned, I think he plotted out very well the geographic location of Goa, and this, I think, both distance is an opportunity as well as a way of attracting people to get to Goa and then spend some time, have a good retreat, and reflect about things to come and do wonderful things. So these are the two things. Looking at the kind of activities we have, I think, HRD Network opened student chapters in 3-4 other universities, including, I think, in Pune with the Balaji Institute and so on. I think they're doing a great job. So it's a great opportunity for government to think of the kind of things that are happening across the world and how can we mobilize youth power to participate in various activities which the government is planning in terms of making the kind of goals we have set for 2047, or for educational institutions, the kind of changes that are taking place, and for the industry, kind of things that are happening and so on. So I want to wish the Goa chapter all the best. You are strategically located and you have the right combination of people, and I'm sure you will make use of this and set new benchmarks for the National HRD Network. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Wish you all the best. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Really an honor, and I think everyone who's turned up here today have really turned up to hear you, because at lunch, what I got to hear was, I'm here to hear Dr. T.V. Rao. And thank you so much for coming, and really do appreciate it very much. I'd like to call upon Mr. Aman Rajabali, just to share with you, this is how it all started. We were not so long back at Purple Fest, and Chacha huई thi ki let's get the Goa NHRDN chapter started. It really started from there, and he is the mentor who actually has brought this together. So anytime we had a problem, how do you do this in NHRDN? He says, yeah, no, any time of day or night. So more than anything, I look at him as a friend, a confidant, and someone who's guided us through it. Please welcome Aman Rajabali, President NHRDN Pune, entrepreneur, coaching, management consultant, community development. His company is Kabir Profile Solutions. Aman Rajabali is the president of NHRDN Pune, an entrepreneur and a management consultant with extensive experience in HR management and management consulting. Aman specializes in advising corporates on HRD. He actively is involved in community development and has served various capacities for NHRD and Pune. Aman is passionate about empowering postgraduate students and has conducted numerous workshops. He is known for his contributions to the field and is excited to share his insights during the event. Over to you.
मेरी तो बोलती बंद हो गई। Arvind bhai, thank you so much. Whatever he mentioned about me, तो एक चीज बोलना भूल गए कि मैं गुलाम हूँ और वो लोग मालिक हैं। तो वो लोग हुक्म करते हैं, मैं पालता हूँ। So, first of all, my heartfelt gratitude, thanks to all of you who have come here in such large numbers on a Saturday. Thank you so much. थोड़ा सा I would like to share the journey, how we started off and we have now reached at this level. बहुत पहले Usha madam, who happens to head the Western region chapters, और our vision था कि we would want to expand chapters in the Western area. और आनंद भाई, मैं, धनंजय भाई, Nalin, we all decided to be, because that time we were working for Purple Fest, and we started of September last year की बात है ये, and we decided that we will take up Goa chapter शुरू करेंगे, मगर कैसे करेंगे? I knew only 3 people in Goa, okay? एक थी अनामिका मैडम जो 2017 में उनसे मुलाकात हुई थी, एक मेरे दोस्त हैं जो 25 साल से हैं, और तीसरे मेरे एक जूनियर थे विमल सिंघा, 97 में वो पास आउट हुए। सिंस 97 आई हैव नेवर मेट हिम, बट ये तीन थे, मैंने सोचा यार चल रहे कूद लें, बीड़ा उठाया है तो कुछ ना कुछ करेंगे, और तो 3 से आज 150 हो गए हैं। So I'm so, this is the power of networking and this is the power of NHRD. And believe me, आप लोगों में से इतने सारे लोग हैं जो short notice पे, have accepted my invitation and have come here. Majority of you people I have not met, I have not interacted, And एक और किस्सा मैं बताऊंगा कि when we were coming here to do the Reiki, Nalin and I had 2 intentions. एक तो पर्पल फेस्ट के लिए करेंगे और दूसरा था NHRD के लिए we'll try and find out कि भाई कैसा होता है, HR वाले हैं कि नहीं है, रिस्पॉन्स है नहीं है, so LinkedIn जिंदाबाद, and I started writing to people on LinkedIn. काफी लोगों को लिखा, उसमें से one lady responded, आप लोगों की उनसे मुलाकात बहुत जल्दी होगी, she is sitting somewhere in the back, her name is Kitki, and she responded, तो हमारी चैट शुरू हो गई, and डरते डरते मैंने उनसे नंबर भी मांगा, भाई सोचना पड़ता है, but she was so helpful, believe me, jokes apart, but वहां से जो हमारा रिश्ता शुरू हुआ, networking people, we met Walter, we met Gavin, there are so many names, अमीन भाई जो मिले, फिर GCCI, रोटरी वाले मिले, CII वाले मिले, इन सब लोगों से मुलाकात हुई, and they all expressed their support. Most of them didn't know NHRD क्या होता है, तो वहां से शुरुआत हुई, but believe me, जो मेरा परसेप्शन था, एंड मेरे नाम की सुपारी नहीं निकालना, आई एम कन्फेसिंग, गोवा का जो परसेप्शन होता है कि भाई निवान सुसेगाड़ आराम से चलेगा, देखेंगे आते हैं भैया, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं था। एंड दोज पीपल हु गेव मी द अपॉइंटमेंट कि वी आर, आई विल मीट यू एट 9 o'clock, ऑन डॉट 9 दे वुड कम। आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड, मैंने यार गोवा में, एंड नोबडी वाज पेंडी ड्रिंकिंग, तो that was even more surprising, and such professionalism, such outwardness, inclusiveness कि भाई सभी लोगों ने मुझे अपनाया। नलिन हम साथ में थे, आनंद भाई फिर बाद में आए, तो सबसे मुलाकात हुई, and then we met अर्जुन and योगेश भाई हैं यहाँ पे, the entire team of Sigma Plus, हमने सब मिले, मनोज पाटिल जी है, निर्मेश है यहाँ पे है, प्रवीण, so many names, अगर मैं लूँ तो मेरी 10 मिनट तो पता नहीं कहाँ चली जाएगी, but believe me, and so Teresa, again who interacted, इनको ऊपर लो यहाँ से, she said me 3 minutes. So no, but that is the kind of power we received and the energy we received from all the community members. So that was, and that's how then we started off. Major support came from GIM, and Usha ji also recommended. So Goa Shipyard से हमको support मिला. Lots of people came forward, and that's how we've come here now. और तो मैं क्या कहूँ, there are a lot of initiatives that we have to take, we will take, and we need your support. आप लोग आइए, तो अभी तो शुरुआत हुई है. Later on, people will share as to what our plans are for the Goa community, actually the Konkan area entire. तो वो बहुत कुछ काम करना है, और ये सब community development है, निष्काम कर्मयोग जिसे कहते हैं, work for others, development, students, and as TV Rao sir observed so brilliantly that this is one program wherein we have representations from all the segments. In the audience we have, on the stage we have, government hai, education sector hai, consulting industry है, students है, working professionals है, we've got people from persistence है और क्या नाम हो गया, तो जो बादाम मुझे दी गई है वो डुप्लीकेट है, मेमोरी डाउन। बट कहने का मकसद ये है कि हम सब साथ में मिलके इस चैप्टर को आगे बढ़ाएंगे, हम सभी लोग डेवलप होंगे। सो थैंक यू सो मच एंड फिर मिलेंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, Aman. I'd like to now call upon Mr. Anand Kot. He is the Director and Talent Practice Leader for Production Modeling India, and he also serves as the National Secretary of NHRDN. With 20 plus years of global HR experience, he specializes in stakeholder management, talent acquisition and development, and organizational planning and development. Anand has held senior HR roles at Farmerag, IBM, Dell UK. He's known for his M&A expertise and is excited to be part of this event. Thank you so much, and he's my first connect with NHRDN. Such a gentle soul and a beautiful soul. An awesome human being before anything else.
Thank you, Arjun, for the kind words. Good afternoon, all. Wow, Aman bhai, आपके बादाम और इनका खाना दोनों डुप्लीकेट निकले। I won't take a lot of your time. The leader is on the dais, so thankful to each one of you for being here. Dr. T.V. Rao and Prem bhai, who was supposed to be here, but last night 11 o'clock we learned that he's supposed to fly down. Instead of coming to Goa, his flight went to Jaipur, not unintentionally, intentionally, because he had to get some work done there. Aman bhai was telling about the story of Goa chapter formation and our thinking. I think when we start thinking good things, they become true. And September we had a conversation. October we were in Nagpur, Ushaji, for restarting the Nagpur chapter. And during the Nagpur chapter conversation, Ushaji and I said that Goa chapter is the next chapter we are going to start in our region. And she mentioned that I will be there if Dr. T.V. Rao comes into our inaugural session of the chapter. So you can imagine whatever we thought about in last few months has come true. So each one of you here, whatever aspirations you have for this chapter, I want all of you to think about it today, and together we'll make it happen. Right? Arjun I met about maybe 10 weeks back at best, and today he's the vice president of Goa chapter. So things really happen. The intention is that people who have like-mindedness, a good cause in our heart, if we collaborate, today all of you are here because you want to add value to Goa, you want to add value to your profession, and in the process, you will enjoy the abundance of universe giving back to you. With that, thank you very much and all the very best to all of you.
Thank you, Anand. A warm person with a sense of humor and a capacity to make everything seem so simple. Please welcome and invite Mr. Dhananjay Singh, Director General and National Board Member of the National NHRDN Network, the largest network of HR professionals, as you all know. Dhananjay has a large experience of community development and has contributed significantly to the HR profession upliftment. He has worked extensively on mental well-being at workplace, and it is exciting to share his journey with you all.
Thank you, ma'am. In fact, I would love to listen from the esteemed people who are there on the dais and our senior members who are already here as the resource person. So I have to just say that grateful thanks to all of you for making us really proud by your presence here. And the blessings of all the senior colleagues who are here means a lot to us because this is going to be the first step of the NHRDN Goa chapter. We look forward to each and every one of you and anybody whom you can reach out, who can make a difference to human resources development. You're most welcome to come and shape NHRDN, paint NHRDN in the color which you believe you want to see National Charity Network which is going to empower the dreams of millions and millions of people. So thank you very much for this opportunity, for making me a part of this inaugural program today, and best wishes, and the best is ahead of us, which we are going to co-create together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next is, I would like to introduce and welcome and ask him to share his thought, Mr. Nilesh Thakur. Mr. Thakur is the Director of Human Capital Consulting of Deloitte, a National Treasurer of NHRDN. Mr. Nilesh Thakur.
Okay, I won't take much because I want the esteemed guests to speak. Again, thank you so much. And when I was what is the confession? This is my first visit to the world. I have been in the US for 10 years, visited almost all the beaches, but this is my first visit to Goa. And my all Deloitte offsites have been seen to Goa. And most of the time when we're offsite, I'm traveling for the destination. So first of all, thank you so much, NHRDN. My own parent voluntary organization where I serve as a national treasurer. I started as a student volunteer, and then in the time, the youngest one also I am with gold. So it's much humbling feeling to be part of this. Why I say this to come to the community and join and probably celebrate the world to a larger, circle to make sure that we do that, because this community will literally help you all. The reason behind one small incident I tell you that in 2004, when I was working with one of the company called PY in Middle East, I would ask my partner to do a HR audit. All HR guys know that what HR audit was, and I just a fresh college grad pass out, and in 2-3 days itself I was setting in the Middle East. I would ask to do that, and I did try books too, and there was no Google, no assistive technology to help me out. I wrote an email to Dr. T. Okay, saying that, sir, I need your help in doing that. And he gave me a lot of things to do, which really helped me out. So really, the power of network is such a way that you reach out to anybody and people are interested. When I was doing the side talks with some of you, we simply said that power of network is not only to build the community, but also certain, network. Sometimes just come out from the normal 95 network with people and then learn together. So having said that, thank you so much and good time.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Mrs. Usha Singh. Ma'am, Mrs. Usha Singh is the Director HR at Manganese Ore India Limited. With over 30 years of experience, she has held key positions at NMDC and SAIL, including technical advisor to the chairman. She is recognized globally as one of the top 100 inspirational women in mining and has received awards like STOME, Outstanding Woman Manager 2017, and the Best Employee Award in SAIL. Welcome, ma'am.
Respected Dr. T.V. Rao, dear Mr. Prem Singh, Aman Bhai, Anand Bhai, Mr. Ajit, Mr. Raju, Ms. Ayushi, Ms. Dr. Anandika, and all esteemed delegates, all of you who have assembled here, and Mr. Taranjit, and all the vibrant team, Goa team, which have just come into being, but then already, the first day they appear like adults. The first step is like that. So, firstly, I must admit and share what I'm feeling. So, Goa, Goa is personifying happiness. I don't know whether Goa residents realize it or not, but it means Goa stands for recreation, happiness, fun, and with this Goa chapter coming, I think the happiness quotient at NHRDN is also going to go up. So it's a very beautiful addition, no doubt about it, and we have all statistics also about it. And as the Western Region President, I cannot be more proud. Then my team members, Aman Bhai, Anand, Dhananjay, and all of you, what you all have put in shape in a record time. I see that Goa has the potential to be the jewel in the crown of the NHRDN fraternity, and with all the advantages it has. And let me also share that, I think I'm very privileged and honored that I'm working with the current NHRDN team who have a vision and a dream, and they're living to it. They did a vision workshop a few months back, and they have a vision 2047. So now there are around 41 chapters of NHRDN across the country. And Goa is going to be the 42nd. And as the Western region, let me tell you that as of now, as last calculated by the central teams currently here, we were third in region wise, the first being the southern region, and that is in terms of membership. And Western region is all set, if not already happened. We are now the second largest. And that is thanks to Goa and the village who have added a record number of membership in the recent past. So it's all healthy competition. But then we must know that we have ambition to grow further and then adding to the strength of the whole state. And so Goa is the 10th chapter in the Western region. And we aspire to open some new region, chapters in the Western region also. But once again, Goa is going to be the jewel in the crown, not only for the Western chapter, but for the entire chapter. I sincerely believe, and the way you all have started it, the government is with us, the team is so vibrant, the young people, the Goa Institute of Management is with us. We have public sectors like Goa Shipyard, the whole team is here. Thank you all so much for coming. And then we have the private sector, the entrepreneurs, there's so much of industry in Goa, and at the same time, there is happiness all around. So, I was just mentioning to my colleagues that the moment I entered at the airport, the first billboard which I saw, it says, "Slow down, you are in Goa." So, we have slowed down, and when you take a deep breath, then I think the best comes out, and this is how I see Goa shaping up. And we could not have a better start than the father of HR and the father of NHRDN, Dr. T.V. Rao himself, coming amidst us and blessing us and showing a role. I must share with you that as a young manager, I started my career with Steel Authority of India Limited, and my first boss was Mr. M.R.R. Nair, the only HR leader who has been the chairperson CMG of Steel Authority of India Limited, and that I think was the first HR person to have headed a major manufacturing organization also. And Mr. M.R.R. Nair worked very closely with Dr. T.V. Rao and Dr. Devani. And I had the privilege of hearing the discussions they had of what they envisioned about with NHRDN, how they wanted to have deep roots of HR profession in the country. And now that I've come to the board of NHRDN, I'm sure wherever Mr. Emaran and I is, he must be actually feelings with that, what kind of, I will not say that proud, that's too much to say, but I'm sure that the seeds what he had sown, I feel so privileged and nostalgic also that I have contributed even small bit to his dreams. And I must tell you that Dr. T.V. Rao and Dr. T.V. Devani, they had made the first performance appraisal of sale. And that was one thing which was taught in all management institutes quite recently, say 10-15 years back also. So we had, continuously we had the privilege of working with Dr. T.V. Rao and their party, and today when I see Dr. T.V. Rao himself here, this is another reason why I sincerely believe that in 2-3 months, what we have been able to do, kudos to the whole team. And I would just like to begin the next thread by reading whatever I have read extensively of whatever Dr. P.V. Rao and their father have written. Something which strikes me and something which I would like to share among you all, and that what a future HR leader, what a future HR professional should be. And he himself talked about it, that the lines are blurred, getting blurred between a business manager and HR manager. So I would also say the 3-4 more important characteristics. So HR has to be business driven. If we as HR don't speak the language of business, then we'll be left behind. And I would like to myself share that I had the additional charge of the CMD of the organization. One fine morning, I got the additional charge of night of profession, and I must confess, the second agreement will take an hour to understand. So what will be the implications? I'm just ready for it, and I would like to think that HR profession must know data, must know business to be to understand that only we can be strategic profession. The second thing is certainly data driven. Even a child these days, they have to ask why do you do that and why you are proposing that, unless we also are data driven, we will not be authentic. And the third one, I would say, no matter how old-fashioned, the human-to-human interface goes, and it is all VC and AI and everything we talk about, but the human touch, what we have, their business, and in business we have to be tough. We are driven by all business goals, but when we have to, unless we motivate a person or we engage a person by from the heart, only then we are going to get the best. And the last, the fourth one, which I would like to mention, an important one, I would say, and that is being networked. And that is so relevant when we talk of this NHRDN movement, a small contribution which NHRDN can do with y'all, and that is in this networking, because this is the essential activity for any ambitious manager. And I have jotted down some research for you to tell you how networking helps. So just 3-4 statements. Networking is responsible for filling in 85% of job vacancies. 7 out of 10 job openings aren't publicly advertised. 70% of people report that networking helps them to find their current job. Although less than 50% of people maintain their professional network, 80% of people believe that networking accelerates their career growth. Networking provides men and women both an equal chance of finding a job. And that I think was interesting from a women perspective. 95% of professionals think that networking is crucial to maintaining long-lasting business relationships. So there are different sources. I have the sources also. It's HBR, Space, KMC, and BC, Flat, and LinkedIn, and so on. So networking is something. It's something like financial management. If you learn it easy and learn it early, it's going to help you in your career. And at the same time, I must share with all of you that it's not everything is not hunky-dory about networking. So there is an initial resistance, especially when we are young. We think that we should be getting positions, we should get what we deserve on what we know, and not on the basis of whom we know. This might so if this idea comes to your mind, so you're not alone. There's nothing to feel down about. But the important thing is people should know that you know. And how do you do that? So that there I say don't hesitate at all, just do it. You take a baby step and you go on and on. This is where it's not only the networking on cloud which will help, networking through this virtual forums which will help. These face-to-face has absolutely no substitute. So all the best. Go a chapter, All the best to Western region. Thanks a lot to Ms. Ayushi, the Goa, the district, that administration here who have extended this help, Goa Institute of Management, and we all look forward to coming to Goa again and again and seeing this chapter once again, I would say, as a jewel of the crown with the NHRDN. Thank you. It's my honor and also a privilege to welcome and invite Professor Ajit Parulekar, my own director of Goa Institute of Management, a healthcare professional, also a consumer behavior expert. He teaches specials on branding, and I've been in GIM long enough, from a state of turbulence to now almost 7 years of stable leadership. Thank you.
It's indeed, Dr. Rao, Ushaji, Gavaskar, Ayushi ji, dignitaries from NHRDN, a lot of friends from Goa's industry, a lot of well-wishers of GIM as well as Goa. I can see my faculty colleagues from GIM, from other institutions, a couple of students, a lot of former students. Welcome to this great afternoon. It's a pleasure to be to have a NHRDN chapter in Goa. The first thing I must say is, why don't we have the audience give yourselves a big round of applause for turning up. Not surprisingly on a Saturday afternoon. I just thought, since you were doing references to Goa, you're right that Goa is a place for happiness. Goa is a place where people know how to enjoy themselves. But Goa is also a place which has the highest per capita income. So, growth, prosperity. So the economic survey of this year puts Goa's per capita income closing in on 7 lakhs, and the prediction is 7.25 lakhs for the coming year, which is 3.5 times. So he's saying that's what I thought, from a HRD perspective, work hard, drive large numbers. Who would have thought, right? I would have thought that it's natural that the happiness, the prosperity you see is because there is also growth, and that growth would not be possible. So I'm very happy that you started, in the Susega Goan style before time. So I have no doubt, that the NHRDN chapter Goa, as Tushar reports, is going to be the jewel in the crown, because Goa brings those advantages. Right? Goa brings the advantages, and maybe it's the very first event you're having here. If you have a team like this that can bring such large numbers on the very first event, it augurs extremely well for a fantastic event. I'm sure we can look at, the power that the NHRDN network brings in. By the power, I mean the sheer grit of so many people across the country. You say 41, 42 chapters, so many thousands of members, student members graduating to become national presidents, doesn't happen in many places. I think so. You take that entire power and you combine it with the charm of Goa. So Goa is the conference capital of the country, can become the conference, training, networking, HRD capital, and therefore I think augurs well where you have such a strong, motivated organization like NHRDN chooses to come in and work. And you can see that we're very happy to have this chapter here. You can see we are very happy. Of course, I'm saying from the Goa Institute of Management's point of view, and of course, in a much larger way, you can see the entire industry. I know people from different walks of life here, from industry, academia, all of them here, government. I think that augurs really, really well. Whatever support is required from the Goa Institute of Management, we will provide whatever support is required because we think it's important for us. I think the same from the GIM standpoint, the choice to be here, again happens with your founder, president of NHRDN. Professor Rao is also a member of the GIM governing board. And I remember a couple of months back, he had sent me a message saying, Ajit, NHRDN should be there in Goa. And I think GIM should also be a part of it. What do you think? I said, sir, thank you or push. That purple quiz gave us an opportunity where, Dhananjay Singh said, what do you think? I think and that's the time we said we'll set up the date and we've been able to stick to that date and all the timelines. The last thing I want to say is, I think, there's a big shout out to the entire NHRDN new baby Goa team, because we'll put up a fabulous story. With that, wish the Goa chapter, much success, and we'll keep meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. With you at the helm of affairs, we just hope and pray that Goa chapter grows as well as you are. Stays and Goa commitment. Thank you so much, sir. Up next, I would like to introduce you all to, I would like to invite the gentleman to please guide us with his motivating words. The gentleman is 28 years long, has been service in the public sector. Okay, he represents he is currently holding the position of Commissioner of Labor and Employment. Mr. Rajan Bawas, he has a beautiful wife with a teacher and one daughter who is doing MBBS. So with a big round of applause, may I please invite Mr. Rajan Bawas.
My dear and business where it is nice to have part with program of opening of Goa Chamber of National HRD Network. I personally believe that resources integrated properly for the upliftment of the common goal always gives the best result. Strategic integration of people, technology and data always deliver sustainable growth of the state as well. I think Commissioner of Labor and Employment, many HR professionals need to always share concern about non-availability of right manpower in Goa. But on the other hand, employment exchange is always filled with lot of unemployed manpower available in Goa. This seems to be contradictory as integration of this demand and supply network still need more realistic approach. Now with the entry of the HRD network, I can hope for the ongoing problem we are facing across. I feel that every human being has a potential to do remarkable. However, organization often fails to tap human potential to preoccupation with the short-term goal. The HRD movement across the world has started with the purpose to help the organization and the individuals optimize the human resources. In the national context, national human HRD networks help people to acquire new competencies continuously and make them more self-reliant. It also helps develop self-esteem and sense of pride in the country. The qualities of self-reliance, self-esteem, and sense of pride are developed through the variety of interventions at national, regional, and organizational level. I wish you all very best for Goa chapter, and we have to work together in the society to uplift the true spirit of the entire community.
Thank you very much, sir. There has been the most approachable labor commissioner at the helm of affairs. So we'll look forward for coming to you for a lot of activity. I mean, our activity and support, and I hope we'll never disappoint us. Thank you very much.
A musician, a poet, and also an avid leader. We have with us Ayushi Kumari, the Assistant Collector trainee of Goa Civil Services. She has a strong background in education and history, and she started her career as teacher and lecturer, and now is leading state and policy matters for Goa State. May I invite you to say a few words?
All the respected dignitaries on the dais and all the honorable members of National HRD Network team and esteemed members who are present here making this August gathering. A very good afternoon to all of you. First of all, many congratulations to NHRDN team for launch of this Goa chapter. And on behalf of government of Goa, I would like to say welcome to Goa. And secondly, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for inviting me today to attend this energetic and vibrant event. As you all expressed, all said, it's a very good beginning, and I wish it is just a beginning. We will see many more chapters of this network and many more tasks and achievements of Goa network in the coming days. So, thank you. As suggested, my topic was for saying few words. No, first of all, I want to clarify in my introduction, I was told I am a musician. No, not at all. I am just music lover. I don't know how it goes. Yeah, I'm not at all a musician. And I'm not from Goa Civil Service. I'm from Indian Administrative Service. So I cleared Civil Service exam 2021 with all India rank 48. And Goa is my first posting, first field posting as trainee, IAS probationer, assistant collector trainee posted in North Goa. So that's all. Nothing like much about it. So as before joining Indian Administrative Services, I was teacher in Delhi government. I'm basically from Delhi, and I worked as teacher in Delhi for 10 years. Like 6 years as primary teacher, and then I joined as lecturer history. So when I resigned in 2022 after my selection, I was lecturer history working there. So Arjun ji told me to say few words how education can partner with HR to create a thriving workforce. So I will not take a lot of time, but just I would to raise few points. How can we work together to create a thriving work? I guess you all must be aware of that Bharat GPT, which is about to be launched. So on the lines of Chat GPT, we are launching Bharat GPT this month. So Reliance Industries has partnered with IIT Mumbai. So this is the thing we need to do. Actually, we all talk, we need to bridge the gap. We need to bridge the gap between our professionals, between our industries and our education institutes. That is demand and supply gap, we say. We are teaching something else, market is demanding something else. Sometimes it happens, sometimes we also. And the biggest, the thing which lacks is funds and all. So it's the example how the education institute can partner with industries. So they will get two major benefits. First of all, they will get funds, and secondly, they will get the demands, like they will get to know what is needed in the market, what is the need of tomorrow, what is the need of the hour. So on what function, also on what tasks we have to engage our students, what challenges we have to give our students. So we can solve these problems like that by giving our students new challenges to tap the whole potential. We have brilliant students, brilliant minds, brilliant demography our country has. So just we need to partner with that industry along with other institutes. And in Goa, we need to just arrange, we have to come together and we have to arrange some hackathons. In Delhi it happens. It is like a competition. You must be aware. You all are like very experts in this field. So I'm just discussing we can arrange these hackathons. Like industries will tell what are the major challenges in various sectors, health, fisheries, tourism, roads, what are the major manufacturing industries in Goa. Let's say we can just list down some challenges, list down some problems, and we can invite our colleges, our institutions, our universities to find the solution. And we can give reward to the winners. So that kind of culture, it would take a little time when we take first step, but it will become part of our culture in the coming time. And we will realize the power of HR when we are collaborating in such a way. Thirdly, why can't we come with a mentor-mentee program in our education institutes also? In that HR can come forward. The HR experts can go, I'm sure they must be going, but they can increase their visits to the institution and play role of mentor of a group of students. And they can guide, they can take some lectures as guest lecturers there. And time to time, they can keep our students updated with what's going on the world outside their college, university, in the field of artificial intelligence, robotics. Last week, I visited many schools in Goa and I was glad students were learning about robotics, coding. And in one school, the Unity school in Bicholi, students were preparing QR code for their own school. So it was amazing to see that kind of future we can create for all the students in Goa with the help of NHRDN. So you people can play a great role in these things, through mental programs, or whatever the name you want to give to the thing. Next, yeah. So this is the power when education will come forward together with HR, and we all will come together to create a thriving workforce. In Singapore, there is an initiative like Skill Future. Skill Future, there is a program where all the professionals or all the working people in whatsoever sector they are working, they are getting training, so they are getting the skilled upgradation in a definite time of period. Let's say different things, different apps are launched time to time, and they are getting updated. Similarly, in USA, Japan, there is very well-established network of collaboration between industries and institutions, educational institutions. So this is all I need to say. Thank you so much and all the very best.
Thank you so much, Ayushi. Apologies for the mistake in the introduction. And thank you so much for the correction.
The next whom I'm going to introduce is going to be the Goa chapter. She is a teacher, trainer, and a coach for over 22 years of experience in teaching, training, and consulting. She has worked with renowned management institutes and organizations specializing in HR audit, comprehensive organizational restructuring. She is known for her contribution in the field of organizational behavior and is excited to share her insights with me. She's going to lead this Goa chapter with a big round of applause. I begin to introduce the president of Goa chapter, Dr. Inaugural.
Thank you, Ravina. Before I begin, I'm going to be very honest, since we have all of us here. What I'm presenting to you right now as the vision for the chapter for the next 1 year is just a sketchy draft of what we thought was most relevant for the community here. But I'll be very happy to discuss with each one of you and understand what more and what else can be done. So by and large, my work or my presentation is going to talk about what I have understood by way of little consulting work or little reading or news articles that I have read. But I would like to know what you all want us to do as a chapter and how we can take this forward. Before I begin, first and foremost, Amanji, It wouldn't have been unless you were there. Thank you so much for believing in me. Thank you so much for being there for me. And with Professor Rao's encouragement, I think now with you, I've known you from 2017, Arjunji. The chapter discussion happened way earlier than Purple Press, I think almost 6 months earlier. And TV Rao sir had initiated this discussion way before. So we are each in different points in this journey. And I think whoever I am today, I think I would always say that it was because of these professors who were there at Ahmedabad to handhold, to fill me with confidence, to ensure and instate in me that belief that I'm capable and I'm worth it. Right? So, Amanji, thank you so much. Ushaji, Premji, thank you so much for believing and wanting us to start a chapter here. Dhananjayji, I think every time I said, it's too overwhelming, it's too overwhelming, you said, no, just do this step first and the rest will follow. So thank you so much for that bit. Anandji, thank you so much. So, introduction to the team. Arjunji you've been interacting with. He's vice president for the chapter. He's been the one who's primarily done all the work with all of us. Yogeshji, you've already interacted with him. Yogeshji is the secretary. Shailendraji, we are introducing him for the first time. Shailendraji is the treasurer for the chapter. And besides that, we have Swapnil. I think you all know her very well. She heads the Putzmeister here and is also the founding member in the chapter. We also have Nirmesh Tyagiji. Are you there? All right. One person also from Pune chapter and Delhi chapter, I need to definitely call out with Nalinji. All these bookings, everything has been done by everything. Ajit sir for sponsoring this event and also being a guide. As an extended team member, I would also like to thank all my faculty members. Anshul, Israel, if you can stand up and let people know who you are. In my PhD students, Priya and my students who are behind. So thank you so much for being there. So together what we thought is what we are presenting as our vision. I think you want to take this bit. So essentially, we want to be an active, engaging body for not just HR professionals, but for any professional who is interested in looking at HR issues or human or people issues. We would stand for networking, we would stand for career progression, we would stand for knowledge generation and sharing. Since we have academics and also to mention Shailaja ma'am, will you please stand where you are. KLS Institute of Management, Belgaum, also our first institutional member for Goa chapter. So Arif sir, their director, has also been very encouraging in helping us build the first few members and to begin. So when I was doing that, why when I stand in front of a group and I say that, you know, this is who we are and this is what we want, and we want us all to be a network of each other. What is it that I can promise to them and why do we even matter? Why should we even exist? Why does this forum even need to be there? And the context that I saw in Goa, I tried to put it in buckets, right? And if these buckets are good, tell me that they are, and if they need to be improvised, happy to hear your words. So the way I saw it, I saw 5 buckets. The first was the digital work. In line with Ayushi ma'am and Sir would agree. The Honorable Chief Minister's vision of developing Goa as the hub for digital nomads, right? So when I talk about digital work, what I'm looking here is 3 aspects. One is the vocation for which people would come to Goa. The other aspect that I'm looking at is the gig work, and the third is technology-enabled work for people who would start working from here. This is primarily people who are choosing to retire at an early age or after their active careers. and would come here to do their work, because now with remote work settings, people can continue to work. The other aspect, and from the way I thought of this, or together as a group that we thought of this, was that primarily their needs would be in terms of upskilling, reskilling, and networking and seeking mentorship. Would I be correct? Do you really see it happening? Is that really happening here? Yeah. Okay. The other part was technology in work. I think that's where Abdul is doing a lot of work, and he's very active there. I understood that after the IT policy, there is a lot of work happening in other organizations also. I was at his riders and Colgate-Palmolive, their plant systems here, and our schools have done some good work there in terms of trying to digitalize some of the manual processes. So that was the bit that we were looking at, and we looked at 3 processes: digitalization and AI at work. So how many of us here believe that our jobs in another 5 years will be replaced by AI? Just to share the price of hands, please. No? 1, 2, that's it? All of us otherwise are shocked that AI is not going to make any harm to us. All right, it's going to make a major drastic change. Raise of hand. Again, hardly many of you still don't see AI happening, right? So borrowing from Sandeep Paul's work and quoting there, another 5 years, the bundling that we have usually seen of jobs is going to change big time. So with complementation, augmentation, and substitution, all 3 of it put together, there is going to be a major change that's going to happen. So that leaves us with many questions. Major question in terms of what I think Yogesh ji and Shailendraji are doing, are doing, is in terms of those of us who will be out of job, how do we survive? What do we cope? So what is the social engagement? What is the community building? What is the support system that we can generate for them? So that is one of the areas that we want to dialogue, create spaces, and work in favor of. The other part will be how do you help machine and human interactions become better, right? So looking at that. The third aspect that we looked at was the MSME and the manufacturing bit, and there we have Pramodji is there. So the labor code, while most organizations have already started implementing it, but then there are major issues, especially related with gig and contract labor. Goa is soon to turn into a totally unionized labor code. That is an area where we could look at capacity building, capability building, and everything else. Last but not the least, the Susega Goa also has major mental wellness issues. We have Robinson here from Sangat, and the good thing about Goa is that at least a lot of work is happening, a lot of conversations are happening on this topic, and there is intervention that is happening very effectively. So having conversations, sharing of best practices, and taking the CSR and the company law beyond the law, and coming to a point where we are able to create family and social integration along with employee integration. So that was another focus that we thought would be advisable. After the session, I'll be very happy to know if you think that there should be something more or something less or something that doesn't belong to us, and you picked up from the newspaper. It's right now our fantasy, not a reality. So I'll be happy to take a reality check from each one of you. In terms of activity, the first thing that we have already started our journey with is in terms of build an active body of members, executive committees, and governance structures. Have a very target-based approach, because till you quantify and put a number or a metric to it, unlikely that we'll get it done. So have a target-based approach to building members. And Amanji, we have to beat South, right? So that would be one. Creating and sharing, because GIM is an academic body, so we have that basic infrastructure on which we can create and share knowledge and information. So having conclaves, seminars, speaker sessions, factory visits, factory immersed sessions by experts from teams of Pune, Delhi, whatever your organizations might need. We'll be happy to do that. Build a brand for Goa chapter at different social media and intervention. helping people in career progression, because we have a large pool of coaches and trainers with us. So building that. So encourage all of you to join us as members. Institutional member and individual membership is there. Those of you who may be interested, I'll be happy to speak to you after that and share the rate card with you. Why should you care and why should you be part of this? Trust me, for me personally, it has been very enriching and confidence-building activity. I found people more than available, out of role, out of character, going out of the way to help out. So that is one. You get a network, you get connections, you get knowledge, you get sharing, you get soundboarding, you get visibility for your own self. And I think Sharon said, a person is known by the worth of the network that they hold, right? And so you get all of that by being a member. You can use this forum to showcase yourself and also to support each other. And to announce our first activity. We have with us Katie. Katie, if you can come forward, please. So Pune chapter and Goa chapter are joining hands, and we are announcing a beach wellness cafe, and Katie, who is also a live member, is going to be leading that campaign. So in case those of you who might be interested. Also from GIMs, and we are announcing certain certifications, essentially in the area of HR analytics and digitalization of HR. So that is in the offering, and we are offering the technology as a solution.
Yeah, well, our company is called MyMatch. It's spelled as MHYMatch. And in the space of artificial intelligence, we're building communities and doing recruitment at super fast speed. And we're going to do a lot of work together. And we're looking forward to that. So just imagine this entire room. You don't know what each one does. If AI just connected each of you on WhatsApp, that's what we're building.
On that note, thank you so much. I'll be very happy to listen to your feedback, statements, how we can build this as a robust, interactive, engaging community. Thanks to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to thank all the members on guys for being here. May I request Aman, Anand, and Ranjay to please felicitate all the members of the dais. I'd like to start with Ms. Ayushi. Thank you so much. Ma'am, thank you so much for coming. Anand.
Ayushi ji, you will be happy to know that yesterday in Hyderabad, we have Young Talent Council of National Charity. They organized a program with 2,000 participants. And this team of Young Talent Council is present across the globe. They work for the best of the best brands. In fact, I was used to happen to be the YTC lead in the previous year. So I wanted to share that with you, and the same hope we have with all the youngsters who are here, that you all will join NHRDN, and I was mentioning to you that you are the ones who will lead the National HRDN network further. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I may just want to add one more thing. Ma'am Ayushi mentioned about Skills Future in Singapore. By the way, this Future Skills Prime, which Ministry of Electronics and IT runs for India. We are 1.7 million learners launched during COVID. I used to lead that for the country. So just want to share with you for Future Skills Prime. Anybody can go and learn 10 emerging technologies.
Ms. Ayushi said, Footsmeister is running a hackathon with government engineering colleagues and LIM, and we've got engineering students to provide problems, solutions to our problems real time. So we're already on the path.
Next, I'd like to thank Mr. Raju Nivas. Um, Thank you so much, sir, for your words, and we look forward to active participation and your support. Thank you, sir. Next, Mr. Ajit, thank you so much for being this terrific support and supporting this initiative in every respect. We've had active contribution from your team, and thank you. Can we have a huge round of applause? These are पूरा स्पेशल बता दो ना क्या क्या है इसके अंदर Okay. Most importantly, Ms. Arusha Singh, thank you, ma'am, for being here and sharing your words of wisdom. And I can assure you that we will be number one very soon. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll do a quick Mentimeter session before we start the next session. Are we ready? Okay. So just pull out your phones again, menti.com. The same code applies, menti.com. The code is 15342016. Menti.com, menti.com. The code is 15342016. And the code is right up there. It's 15342016. 15342016. Okay, before our next session, which is going to be by Mr. Pramod Mahatme, it's on regulatory, the future of work, regulatory implications. So we are going to do a quick session on Mentimeter using this. Rank the following in the order of importance. Rank the following in the order of importance. Workplace safety, data protection, gig worker rights, remote work policies, and AI governance. All those sitting at the back, please whip out your phones and do participate. Okay, workplace safety, data protection are the ones leading it. Okay. So gig worker rights and remote work policies are very closely fought. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's see the next question. Rank these factors by the impact on the future of work environments. Rank these factors by the impact on future of work environments. Technological advancements, globalization, education and training, climate change, and demographic shifts. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. The last question, what would you like to learn from other sessions on this topic? So all future sessions, try to express whatever you'd like. Going forward, we take that as input so that going forward, we will ensure that we deliver. I love that nothing much. Someone's put nothing much as well. AI and digital HR, AI and HR. I thought someone, all of you said AI is not going to make any difference to you. So the interesting thing is you want to learn about it. The next session, by the way, we're going to talk something about that. Right. Yes. Okay, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call upon Mr. Pramod Markme.
Mr. Pramod Markme is a retired Vice President of Employee Relations at Wipro Consumer Care and Lighting. With over 20 years of experience at Wipro, he continues to serve as a consultant. He started his career in industrial relations in 1981 at Bombay Chamber of Commerce. Throughout his career, he has been involved in resolving industrial disputes and has witnessed the transformation of HR practices in India. He has addressed numerous seminars, conferences on industrial relations. He has mentored many HR professionals as well. We look forward for a very engaging session on industrial relations by the one and only Pramod Mahatme.
The industrial relations has actually, industrial relations has lost its steam. Not many young professionals, particularly coming from the premier institutes, opt for it. And probably because of that, not many premier institutes take a very serious view of this topic, which I consider one of the most important competency for HR professionals. So I will take you through, I've been given 30 minutes to speak and the time sets now. And I will take you through my 40 years of experience. And maybe at the end of this, if I'm able to inculcate some sort of an interest among the young professionals in the field of industrial relations, I think that's good enough. And then you'll have to call me again to build this competency among the young professionals. Let us go to 1980s. That's the time I passed out. There were no devilries then. There was one Mr. So the gentleman who had defined personal management, that it is aid, advice, assist and guide the business. So the HR professional had to have the expertise in at least one of these 5 areas. There's procurement, development, maintenance, compensation and separation and integration of the people to achieve organizational goals. Why organizational goals? Simply because we are paid by the organization. If I was paid by the union, definitely I would have worked for the union's goals. If I was paid by the government, I would have worked for the society. But since we are paid by the organizations, there should be no ambiguity. We are not employee champions. We are supposed to get best out of the people. Like marketing manager has to get best for his this thing, but he has to understand the employee needs, the consumer needs. Here we have to understand the individual goals and also the societal goals, because eventually if your organization has to be successful, it has to fit in this. So it was a line management responsibility and staff function. That was admitted. Now let us look at how the HR has evolved over a period of years. It was labor relations then. Put on. Why? If you you know what XLRI stands for? It's Xavier Labor Relations Institute. So this profession was understood as a labor relations. From there, we came to personnel management when we passed on. Then it became HRD. Then it became talent management. And now in talent management, you have further super specialized in talent acquisition, talent transformation, talent engagement, talent retention. Now, so far, talent separation has not been a super specialization, but I'm sure it will soon come. Now, what is this gradual upgradation from labor to talent? So, I have a very simple definition. My English is not so good, but my simple definition for talent is where demand is more than supply. If demand is more than supply, it becomes talent. If supply becomes more or the demand falls, then it becomes labor. So Jet Airways pilots were talent in 2008. They became labor in 2009. And again in 2010, they became talent. And I don't know what they are now. So what happens is, when demand is more than supply, the individual is strong. He bargains on his own. He doesn't need anyone. He's a tiger. He's a lion. He's not a goat or a cattle to live in herds. So he says, I'm going to resign unless you pay me this, unless you give me promotion, and your problem is attrition. So what happens in this side, when you are dealing with a strong individual who can bargain on his own, he doesn't need help of anybody else. He is able to bargain on his own, and your problem is to handle attrition. So what you do, you hug him and kiss him and dance with him and say, you are God's gift to the mankind. And slowly, one day he starts thinking that he is a God's gift to God himself. And then it becomes difficult to live. So this is the problem, challenge that you have. On the other side, what happens? Supply is more than the demand. Poor fellow cannot fight individually. So what he does, he forms the union. He comes collective and he starts bargaining collectively. And while your manager says, I'm going to resign and stop work, he says, we are going to stop work by unions. Managing this collective bargaining is a different, completely different competency. Managing individual is on this side, and you have got industrial disputes on this side. So the difference is what are you going to achieve here? You want to attract and retain talent at the most competitive price. And that is your ER or HR or talent management. All is even ER, when you say many people believe that ER and IR is same. No. ER may be you are still dealing with the operatives, but on the individual basis. When you are bargaining individually, it is he who has to decide for himself and you deciding on the other side. But when it comes to deciding by the union, somebody has to say something and everybody, 5,000 people have to agree. For the union leader to say yes, not so easy. He has to carry with him 5,000 people. And the entire bargaining process of collective bargaining is something which drives eventually to this sort of a consensus where even the leader is able to agree on the basis of his and carry his followers. So achieving product, very often people think that the best employee relations will get the best industrial relations. No. The employee relations and industrial relations have no correlation. You may have all people very happy individually, but collectively they will have a dispute. The good industrial relations is nothing to do. Somebody told me, for last 20 years, we did not have a strike at all, not even one day of strike. So I thought, and he believed that it was a very good industrial relation. Is your productivity more than 10% or 20%? Issue that industrial relations is not measured in terms of the amount of happiness your people have. It's whether you are achieving productivity, quality, reliability, and flexibility. You may get it despite tension, even then I would say the industrial relations. So industrial relations measure its productivity, quality, reliability, and flexibility. So this side is your HR, talent management of IR, and on this side, you have industrial. Both together used to call personnel management. Now, industrial relations. Now, let us, I'm not going to talk about the HR, this part of the presentation. I'm going to only talk about industrial relations, which is purely a collective bargaining process. So the framework that governs industrial relations in different countries will be different. So you cannot expect what happens in Japan to be immediately applicable in India, or what happens in US to be applicable in India. So what really governs this? What law to recognize the rights of the union? What law to protect the environment? What law to resolve the disputes? Level of social security and the ratio of demand and supply. This is what will decide. So employees at all levels of salary entitled for protection under law or for collective bargaining, and their job security gets affected. So formation of the union is a sign of weakness and insecurity, and it's not a courage to revolt. Now, very often we believe that it's a courage to revolt, and we later act by responding to it as a revolt. In fact, if the union gets formed, we must sympathize, because poor fellows are surrendering their individual right to bargain and surrendering to the union. So therefore, best practices in one country cannot be replicated, and the best practices maybe 20 years back will not be applicable today. So this is a higher your salaries. Higher, very often people believe that because your salaries are low, people will form the union. No, people will form the union only if your salaries are high. The salaries are high, only then people.
Sir, just a question then. Sir, if the IT employees are now forming unions, it means their bargaining power has lessened.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So higher the salaries vis-a-vis market value. So when you say salaries are not in absolute terms, if he can find a better job for higher salary, he will opt for HR. When he realizes that there is no other job and he is likely to lose the job, here also he will form a union, whether it is IT or anything. So higher the salary than the market value, the individual is weak, he forms the union. It is the weakness which brings you together. Now, if your dependence on a unit is very less, even if they say, okay, fine, we want to go on a strike, like for example, the Jet Airways pilots, when Jet Airways was closing, had no bargaining power. If your factory is such when your dependence is not very high, you can afford to have then the union itself will become weak, and the big union will form the federation. Now, what happens? Today, even if we have, say, 10 factories across India, all manufacturing lighting products, and if they all form the federation, I can still manage to get the entire flow from China and manage. Even the federation will become big, and they will form international. Now, here I would just like to make a difference. When I'm dealing with this, this thing is based on manufacturing unit. Please don't apply it to the service sector. Service sector in the sense either IT or a hotel or wherever, where the difference is, if you are selling a product, when you go to buy a Maruti car or a Ford car, you are not worried about what pains the people have gone through. You are looking at the product and buying it. So here the customer first is the if you are going to a hospital, it's the reputation of the doctor because of which you are going to the hospital. So therefore, or even in your hotel, if your waiter throws tea on you, however good the environment would be, however good the ambience is, you would not like to go to the hotel because you look for the services. So here in this cases, it is employee first. So all that I'm going to talk to you today, please don't apply to this area of the service sector. I'm specifically talking about the manufacturing sector. Next. So this entire process is very simple. On one side, you have the union, and its strength is to its ability to inflict the pressure through coercion. On the other side, you have the ability to sustain that. So that is your strength. So I put it in a simple words. Your ability to say no is your strength. He says, I want 10,000 rupees increase tomorrow. I say no. That's your strength. Their strength, the strength of the union is not about beating the table. I don't look at the union leader who comes and shouts and bangs his head and gives you the choicest bad words possible. He is not, it is not his strength. His strength is his ability to say yes. It is very easy for any leader to say no. But to say yes, he has to carry with him the 5,000 people. So his ability to say yes is his strength. And I always say the strong union is one who has the ability to say yes. On the other side, your strength is to stand up and say no. This forward and I'm not going to go anything beyond. Please do whatever you want. So that is your strength. So you have to have this strong union on one side and the strong management to the other side to have the sustainable industrial position. Now the whole issue is how to create this position of strength. Now, I have seen people don't take you seriously unless you put things in 4 quadrants. So I thought I'll also put something in 4 quadrants. So I put on one side your ability to say yes of the union, and the other side your ability to say no, where the management, in which you put 4 quadrants. In the first quadrant, you have a weak union, but on a strong wicket. So this is the time when you are in this sort of a situation, you will end up in taking all ad hoc decisions. You want to quickly get over the issue, so you take some ad hoc decision and close it. And all these things build up into the bad practices which you want to then correct at some time. In the second quadrant, you have a strong union and a strong wicket, and that's the time when your bargaining is very, very difficult. People, everything in the world, they want to challenge and bargain. Your productivity, your quality, your flexibility, everything gets into a tough setting. Then what happens? Suddenly your dependence is completely lowered. You don't have much dependence. That's the time, it may be a strong union, but it's on a weak wicket. It cannot really bargain well. And that is where you are able to bring in a lot of these reforms. Now, ideally, here is a strong management that also is not sustainable because you keep pushing people at the end of the path pole where they react. Or here, if it is a strong union, they push you back to an extent where the management thinks, the best thing to do is close down. So sustainable industrial relations are possible only at the intersection of this. Now, what happens when you start pushing people at the back of the ball? Then they suddenly realize, this management is not going to listen. Let us go to Chief Justice of India, and he will give us the justice. And every time, you keep saying no, and you end up in getting the court evidence. Okay, so this is the cycle that you go through. So ideally, it is about realizing your potential of your business and building within your business strengths. To come to this quadrant 3 is the job of IR and chief executive of the company to see how you can build this position of strength. So one of the simple things which I had suggested to our industry is we are in a FMCG product. So we said every factory should have multiple products and every product should have multiple factories. So even if there is a strike in one factory, we can source from many others. And even if one product is missing, every factory has multiple products. So even if one factory fails, so so just in time was not a way plan. So that is how we were able to build a strength. Now, I have come across these 3 categories of people and as a union leader. One is a trade union. So he starts his career as a student leader
then he becomes a trade unionist in the job, and he becomes an activist, and eventually he ends up as a graduate trade unionist. Second is the labor law. And third are the extortion. Those who have muscle power, they will come to a gate and first break a couple of windows and give you the choices, and they say, okay, this is what we are capable of. Please recognize that this is what our capability is. So these are the three kinds of the people. Now we go to the next. And what are the ways of? One is militancy. The other is, go for strikes and lockouts, or go for conciliation and adjudication. These are the three ways you can bring it. Now, who does militancy? Tell me. Any idea who has been doing militancy? Who does militancy? In my experience, sorry? No. Most of the time, it is management. Now, people ask me what. The moment the union gets formed, the first thing you do is, what is militancy? Militancy is using undue influence on individuals to force decisions. So if I am in a position to sign a settlement and have the power to agree, somebody will come and hold a gun on me and say, please, you better sign, otherwise, there's a bulletin. So I get scared for my life. So at the cost of individual interest, you get a collective settlement. What do we do? The moment there is a union formation, first thing we do is take a disciplinary action on the union leader. So his job is at stake. Because you have got a gun called standing orders in your hand. Now, poor fellows, they don't have the standing orders to put their gun against. So they pick up this one. So most of the time, we don't realize that doing that is a militancy. If somebody says, this is the, I always believe that a union is a reaction. And if somebody says, this is how the union has been behaving, I can tell you how you have behaved in last 10 years. The next is the strikes and lockouts. Now, strike and lockout, like the manager says, I will put my resignation if you don't give. People say, okay, I will go on strike if you don't agree to this demand. So strikes and lockouts, as recognized in our law, are the genuine weapons for collective power. So either they can use them. The third is conciliation and adjudication. Now, I would strongly respect this weapon, strikes and lockouts. Now, 5 days of strike, somebody said, I said, 5 days of strike, very well handled. Now, 15 days of strike, very well handled, is a guarantee of 15 years of peace. 15 years of peace, 15 years of productivity, 15 years of flexibility, if it is very well. But this has to be recognized as a tribute. The other is conciliation and adjudication. I would go a little deeper into this, but the paucity of time, I have to go to the next slide. Now, I said the social, economic, and political situation changed. And with that, the industrial relations also changed. So I have taken one period from 1947 to 1975. I have to go a little faster, only to tell you that this is the time we were at the equilibrium. 1947 to 1975. We had underdevelopment, there was a protective laws, but layoff, retrenchment, and closure was permitted. So you had at that time, workmen were protected from exploitation and management were protected from competition. So if you want to buy a reactor, there was already 10 years waiting. So if they were to go on strike for 6 months, your 10 years waiting period for the customer would have gone from 10 years to 12 years. But at the end of it, as per the license amount, the number, they would produce the same number of vehicles at the end of the year, and the workmen also would get the increase. So both of them had, but today, if Maruti is closed for 6 months, they may take 15 years to regain the market share. So they are not on the equal footing. So this was the period where workmen were protected from exploitation and management was protected from competition. Then comes to the next period, 1975 to 90. If you remember, in 75, there was the emergency. After that, in 1976, they came out with an amendment in Industrial Disputes Act, where layoff, retrenchment, and closure was not permitted if you are engaging more than 100 people. So you engage more than 100 people, and you cannot have layoff, retrenchment, or termination for any reason whatsoever. So that strengthened the union's rigor for exploiting this protective law, and they started doing militancy. The fastest way, I mean, how Datta Saman became very powerful, it was very easy. The fastest way is to resort to militancy. And workmen were next month. So then immediately after liberalized, the situation changed. In 1992, when the liberalization, globalization, privatization suddenly changed the situation, and the militancy which was then used for settling, everybody wanted to move out of Bombay because now there's no need for licensing. So anybody should move out. So therefore, the militancy was leveraged to effect closures and shifting. So at the end of the millennium, the unions became weak. They could not, because the unions started, the industry started moving out of the metros, and the new settlements started coming in the backward areas. So although the union bargaining strength weakened in the metro cities, and your entire militancy came down, and then this weak union started opting for the jurisdiction. So they moved into the fourth quadrant. Next slide. Now this is after 2014. Again, we started coming back. This, the industries in Manesar and other areas, if you see in 2011, once again the union started growing, and we started moving into the second quadrant. So today we are in a very bad situation. Workmen are protected while management face the global context. The laws have remained the same. The globalization has happened, but the laws are same as they were in 1947. And this is what is really creating a problem. So we are back into that. Now, what we need to promote, the environment was reasonably balanced when industry was protected from competition and workmen were protected from exploitation. But today, in the liberalized world, innovation, continuous improvement, technology upgrades, and flexibility has become a necessity for this. It is very difficult, if you look at Section 9A, where for everything you have to give a notice of change, it is impossible at the rate at which we are going today. The inability to sustain disruption has pushed industries on the absolute backfoot. And this is more felt today in manufacturing industry, in automobile industry. Next slide. So India needs ease of doing business. And when we say ease of doing business, there are many other laws, but I am focusing only on the labor law. It is not that our minimum wages are high. It is not that the compensation prescribed for separation is very high. It is not that the social security is a burden. It is not that the safety is the question. The only employment-related laws is the issue. And in the employment-related issues, if I have to really go down, deep down, it is only Chapter 5B, which was introduced in 1976, is the issue. Now, this Chapter 5B is not applicable to IT industry, and see what is the difference. Today, in Wipro, for example, if I have to, every year we go out, we take about 25,000 to 30,000 people on board from the management institutes, and very often they don't have the job, so they sit on benches. But if I have to recruit a workman in the factory, I'll get 15 questions. First thing is, can you not invest another crore of rupees to reduce that and do some automation? Because engaging a workman, they think if you engage once, he is good for next 60 years. Go to the next one. India needs flexibility. Now, there are 4 items. No change without agreement, which is Section 9, item 9, 10, and 11 of 4th schedule. No layoff, retrenchment, or closure without permission. No termination after 240 days. and right to strike without notice. So these are the real draconian laws which need to change. So when we say the labor laws are draconian, there's nothing draconian except these 4 clauses in the Industrial Disputes Act, and only that has to be changed. India needs to focus on sustainable growth. So our entire, when people say it is, our laws are labor friendly, I always say no, they are all union friendly. Because if they are labor friendly, our minimum wages would have been very high. So employment generation rather than employment protection, social security rather than job security, and building skills to entice opportunities. I think that is what we need to do, and work from, graduate from highly protected poverty that we had to a little less protected prosperity.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we have a bonus session. We have with us Mr. Steve Correa, who's an executive coach and OD consultant. Steve is an executive coach and OD consultant for over 3 decades in corporate expertise experience, including 18 years as CHRO. He has worked across various industries. Steve is known for his certifications and professional associations, and he's passionate about organizational development and coaching. Please welcome, put your hands together for Steve Correa.
Can I request, I won't be using the mic. I won't be reading my slides. So those who want to look through and follow, just come up a little bit here so you can follow the slides. There are lots of seats here. Can you hear me in the back? Okay, great. Even this is not working. All right. That's my profile. I've spent 30+ years in corporate. I work for Indian companies, multinationals. I work in India, I work abroad. I work across a series of industries. And over the last 15-20 years, I've also been associated with OD work. I'm a coach and done my OD certification. And that's what I do now as a full-time coach. Okay, sorry. So at the end of today, the next 15-20 minutes, you will have answers to what is executive coaching, what's the difference in coaching, mentoring, counseling, therapy, etc., etc. Where do you use coaching and where do you use other initiatives like training and so on? So all of you are keen on where do you get, where does coaching give the maximum bang? And should we use internal coaches? Because many companies are coaching their own executive. Or do we get a guy like me from outside to do coaching? What are the trends in coaching as research is pointing out? And finally, if any of you want to be a coach, what makes a good coach? So to begin with, how many of you are coaches in the room? Raise your hand. Fabulous. How many of you have been coached? Raise your hand. Right. How many of you would like to be coached? Raise your hands. Super. All right. So that's a good start. Let's move on. What is coaching? Coaching is not giving gyan, giving advice to people, giving suggestions. Coaching is really a space in which there is deep listening. The coach is really a container in which everything that's happening with the client comes up. And it is because the client is not able to work with what's coming up for himself or herself that she's engaging a coach. Because the whole process of working with the emergent that takes place in the conversation is what is the coaching. It goes beyond the content of what is being said. It works with what is also being said and what is not being said. So when the coaching process happens like a dancer, like two dancers, the dancers disappear, only the dance remains. Like the musician and the instrument, just the music remains. The instrument and the musician disappear. If really you have that kind of a coaching contract takes place. We've always asked ourselves, what is coaching and what is mentoring? And in simple words, if I have been a CHRO and there's someone who wants to be a CHRO and I'm teaching my tricks to someone, that's mentoring. If somebody is not able to move from something in the past to engage with the present and work to the future because there are some blocks, those blocks could be teased away through coaching or counseling. If those blocks are very deep, they could be worked with through therapy and psychotherapy and psychiatry and so on. And if you're really looking at some expertise as to how to reorganize or do some, you need some gyan, information, then you call the big four, you call the consultant, and they'll say, move aside, we've done this before. We are the experts, we'll tell you how to do it. And that's consulting. And you've got to be very careful. You've got to be very careful that you aren't doing a kitchen of doing consulting, coaching, mentoring, and therapy all in once. Though many clients will want for you to straddle those various areas. And we can talk about that later as to how do you as a coach stay with the emergent process. So here's the chart which says that's what coaching and consulting is. There's one more chart which I've got, which is going to do with past and future and asking questions and telling the person, which is one more way of spinning the basic concept I already clarified. Now we must ask the question, what's better, internal coach or external coach? Raise your hand those who believe the organizations themselves should have internal coaches. Raise your hands. You believe that's the way to go. Yeah. And how many of you believe that you need to get an external consultant? Raise your hands. So you have a fewer set of people here. Fewer set. Back to me. You see, let me put this in a context. I don't know how many of you play golf, but there are different golf sticks, right? And golf is about what? Looking at the ball and looking at the hole. And between the ball and the hole, there's a distance. And depending on the ball and the hole and the distance, you pick the club that's required to give you a short putt or a long hit. So if you have to have leadership skills, like directive skills, athletic skills, democratic skills, pace setting skills, you know these words, right? You also need to have coaching skills, like a golf stick. So certainly all leaders in organizations need to have a golfing coaching stick. And that's good. But the problem with having an internal coach is that you know he's the boss, you know that he has got an appraisal insight on you, you know you cannot be vulnerable, You can't tell him how your daddy, treated you when you were young. And you're always showing your face to the camera. So you cannot be vulnerable. In my experience of being a coach, vulnerability is that which heals the wound. If I look at all my experience of coaching, it is the vulnerability that heals the wound and creates the healing. And you cannot have vulnerability in an organization. You could, you try to, but it will be difficult. And look, I've played both sides of my world. I was 18 years CHRO. I've been a coach now, and it's difficult to flip both sides. You always have a judgment when you are the leader, right? So the guy is not going to trust you, and he may not have the time. And leader as a mentor is good. Leadership as a mentor, being a mentor is very good. You can teach people how to, you can guide them, mentor them. That's good. And I'm not so certain the internal force in an organization makes sense. It has to be defined. Just like you can't have an OD consultant inside the organization. That also doesn't make sense. All right. Some companies have full-time consultants, coaches that they then unleash onto staff members, etc. But if you get an external person, there's one big problem with having an external coach. He keeps telling you whatever happens between me and the client is confidential. I will thematically tell you what's going on. I'm not going to tell you anything. But then the HR person and the line manager doesn't know what's happening. It's like, Mia baby is very happy. They both look like they're growing. There's a lot of smiles on people's face, but he doesn't know what's happening and he doesn't know what is the hour and the hour. So there's a problem with taking an external coach because he's not going to tell you anything of what happened.
Yes,
in that emergent process. Yes, sir.
Mentor can become a coach. Mentor can be.
So hold back. Let me take that at the end of my presentation. I've got 3 more slides before I take your question. Okay? Is that okay? All right. Now I asked you, I told you, when will you use coaching? See, if a guy doesn't know anything in terms of education, you send him to good programs like gym and training programs and let him have the skill that he needs to have. If he needs practice, send him for assignments and projects and get him to do those projects. If he needs to watch a senior person, let him go under a mentor. So do many things, but don't start doing coaching. Coaching is really, in my view, coaching is someone who's experienced, leader, who has probably gone through many leadership programs, has years of experience, knows his job inside out. But you need to help them from perspective. We're living in a world of polycrisis, where he has to manage self, he has to manage others, and he has to manage the emerging context. And the way leaders need to think, feel, and act, the coach is working with the thinking, feeling, and acting, and creating new beginnings. And that's where you want to get a coach in. At a very senior level, the coaches are also expensive. Yeah, we don't come cheap. But you also get coaches who come cheap. And that's where you probably need to get the coach, because the coach then makes a significant shift with the client in terms of moving towards what is required, the future direction in terms of what happens. So that slide, I hope you read by the time. Now, what does Brian, who's done the research, what's he saying in terms of trend? Okay, internal coaching is on the rise. Most people are from director level, is where you use for coaching. You can see results in about 6 months' time, and there are lots of other. Now, how do you pick a coach? Now, there's a very fancy schools which say you don't need to know anything, just ask good questions. You can be a florist and also be a coach. as long as you're curious. The reality is that most HR people will pick coaches who have rapport experience, skills, business experience, experience in that leadership function, and that certification, which has now become a big glam business. Everybody wants to be certified. And in fact, the only guys who make money on the certification. Then you have to keep on going and doing PPU to keep on reliving your certification. Anyway. And we're talking about AI. AI is not going to replace coaching. Because the AI, I'm studying AI right now, it doesn't have a property to get to being a sentient being. AI is not going to have nightmares, hope, dream, pain, and rasa.
And also vulnerability.
Yeah?
Vulnerability, as you said.
And vulnerability. And so this human contact, this connection from person to person cannot be substituted by any device, call it AI or BI or CI. Not gonna happen. Okay, I'm coming to the end of my slide and my time. What makes a good coach? What makes a good coach? One word from the crowd. Come on. What makes a good coach? Good listening. Next. Huh?
Empathy and experience.
Empathy, experience. What else? Learning. Learning. You are learning or they are learning?
They're learning as well.
They are learning as well. What else? Emotional intelligence. Yeah. Building perspective. You know what? If you can offer presence to the other, if you can offer acknowledgement to the other, if you can see the larger self in the other, if you can see, okay, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. That's it. Now, later if you learn some other stuff also, I can learn your coaching book. That's bonus. But you can get away with coaching month after month, year after year, by simply being present to the coachee and simply saying, I see you move, brother. I see you, I hear you, I feel you move. Keep going. And that's all what people need. A sense for human connection. Sense for work. And people lift. Actually, we get paid for doing that. We get paid to just be there for that person because you know what? Most of our clients, they have nobody who listens to them. And everyone's got a story in the Raja that no one has. And everyone got a fairy tale that they wish to live with. And to be present to and to acknowledge and to be with the person, that's really good. You don't need to ask intelligent questions, see what question I'm going to ask next, like all these coaching people train you on. Ask these 5 intelligent questions. And with that, I'm going to, how much time more do I have? No one's here? Good. Okay. You know what? When the client is ready, the coach appears. My 2 children, they are my biggest coaches. I remember a time in the UK, my son stands up 11 years old and he says to me, trembling, Papa, no one's going to tell you this, I am going to tell you this. He starts almost bursting in tears, tells me something. Then I'm married and I don't listen. You know what children say to their father? You know, people don't get feedback from me. You have people listening to you and when you crack some joke, everyone laughs and you think you're a very funny guy. Everyone laughs. Actually, laugh the way the boss. When they turn their back and go, they say, well, so when the student is ready, even a stone can become a teacher. The role of the coach is to provide the canvas on which the coachee dances and paints. From our Bharat Natya Shastra, the coach is the Sakshi, to which there is a heroic journey of the hero, of the heroine. In this case, Naika. You heard of Naika tale? Naika is searching for her exalted, her higher, her the potential to be the larger self. To be that which is your potential. That is what coaching is. To raise the game and for you to confront the best that you can be. The best that you can be. Sometimes you want to be a good person, not for yourself. You married a woman and you want to be the best person for your spouse. To be a better person for your wife. To be a better person for your kids. You want to be the best for them in every way. That's why you stand up and you ask yourself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Coaches don't do what to do, how to do. Some coaches do what to do, how to do. The real coaching is why. Do you wish to do what you wish to do? Why? What's the why? What to do, how to do, what to know why you want to do is great, then go to nutrition, take all that stuff very easy. And you're wasting coaching time if you want to do that kind of stuff. What to do, how to do, right? So that's it. And now there are Hajar models. You go and do Google. And in coaching, you'll be required to, come up with your own model as to what is coaching. Now you start working with people, you will realize that the easiest model really is to be in Shantam, to be in a state of equanimity, to be in a space in which the rasas can decide, and from which you can attend to the other, and that person's rasas dance and move, and you hold and become, offer space for all of that to be worked. I mean, these are all words, unless you are in the session and you are to hear it now, you recognize the power of holding space for that. Holding space. No, you still have to wait for one more slide. I'm sorry. And here are some other coaching things. And finally, what I want to say out here, coaching is a growing business. It's like galloping. There's some coaching competencies that ICF has got, and there's some guidelines. And this is this is what my truth is. The client owns the problem. The client owns the jigsaw puzzles. The client owns the ability to put it together. The client has to search for it. The client has to make sense. The client has to figure out what he or she wants to do. The coach's job is to help the client do all of it. The client owns every piece. And you have to stay there, aligned to where client is. And the client is there. Therefore, the coach is merely a mirror. I'll stop here. I'll stop here. Good coaches have to, really stir the horse. But great coaches just sit on the horse. And the horse knows very well. Thank you. Your questions. Sir.
No, I had, when you joined the CHRO, I had written you a mail. I found it. Can I read it now?
Mail to who?
Mail to you. I
Okay.
written it to you. No, just to say, see, he was my boss's boss in Kutch when I joined as a senior executive. He was a CHRO. Now, when I moved to Reliance, he joined after me as a CHRO. So I written this mail, and incidentally, I think this is the best time whereby all of us can return. And what he has said, he has literally done through all his life. I was just a lowly executive HR, or then a DGM HR at Reliance. So what I've written, that just I will read it shortly.
This is all staged, huh?
It was written on 13th of September 2013. I have written, dear Steve, it has been a great feeling, the one which I cannot put in words, on how I feel upon you joining RJL as a CHR. Having worked in the HR function, under your leadership in Kutch, I can imagine well how the thing will shape up in the near future. Now, this was the time when the Reliance was being launched. We were just picking up the things. Nobody knew what was holding. We were just trying to get the expectations of the people, and then you joined. This evening, I could feel the same euphoria welling inside me while interacting with you with the rest of the team to VC. We had a VC each week with the other people. I was in Mumbai and then I moved to Pune as NHR. When you ask the participants to ask the questions after having introduced yourself, I just couldn't help reminiscing about the time when I had first met you. You had come to Lucknow, the headquarters of UPs for the first time, and there was a group of about 10 of us huddled together in a cabinet Chindal's house. Chindal's house was a building in Lucknow. That was 29th of January 2004. The grand launch of Hutch at UPs had happened on 28th night at the Taj. We had partied in the VRs, then the HR and admin team came back to Chindal's, wherein we packed the Hutch bags with goodies. Now the Hutch bags contained the name of the people who had joined in, their ID cards, their SIM cards, and their phones as per their rank. And it was his mandate that each person should be having the goodies back at 9 a.m. in the morning because Mr. Ashwin Ghosh was also coming. So we were there all decked up. We had party till 4 o'clock at Taj, came back, did the things, donned our caps, and then we were there. We had party till the VR, then the HR and admin team came back, wherein we packed the Hutch bags with goodies, kept these at the individual workstations, along with the name tags, and left around 6 o'clock in the morning to catch up on some sleep. We were at the office at 9:30 again to meet up with Mr. Ghosh and me. You had specifically asked for the HR and admin team. After the preliminary introduction, you had asked for the questions, and incidentally, that day I was the first to answer. I always put my neck where it was not meant to. I asked about how we could measure test the Hutch values of being creative, honest, open, passionate, and simple. That was the Hutch values which Steve said, as Mr. Ashwin Ghosh said, we should practice while selecting a candidate. You thanked me for breaking the ice, explained in detail, and gave inputs about behavioral event interview techniques. What struck me at that moment, that's a person of your stature. After all, you were my bosses, Vikas Sharma's bosses, Anil's machine boss. So you can just imagine the hierarchy. We were so forthcoming, open, and ready to communicate to anybody, irrespective of the height.
I'm sorry, I have to cut you short because we are running way behind.
So I am saying that this is the way a coach or a mentor operates. And what I am today, I am here because of these kind of things. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Mr. Steve Korea. It was a very snappy one and I really do appreciate it. We had told him 40 minutes and then we suddenly told him, you have 15 minutes and he looked at me. But thank you so much for honoring the 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do one quick round again of Menti because the next session is about tech. Okay, so it's the HR tech session. Again, if I may, just 1 second. So just go to menti.com, the same code 15342016. And we'd like your inputs because going forward, if it's anything related to HR tech, AI, all of that, we'd like your inputs as to where it's going. So, okay, I think we'll skip the Menti session. Let's start straight with the people coming on the dais. For this session, we have 3 panelists. This is going to be a fun round. We have 3 panelists. We have Swapnil, Director HR of Meister of India. You aren't allowed to go out. That's, ladies and gentlemen, okay. All those who are left, just to honor everyone who's still going to be up, may I request you to please move out. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Okay, so let me welcome Swapnil Gupta. He's the Director HR of Meister India. Swapnil is with over 15 years of experience in HR leadership. She has a strong academic background from MDI Gurgaon and IIT Roorkee. Her expertise spans capability building, talent management, digitization, mergers, and performance management. She is known for her contributions to organizational evolution and her passion for nurturing diverse talent. Please welcome Swapnil. Our next panelist is Abhishek Jain. He's actually a business guy who's come from Ahmedabad, so huge round of applause. He's a chartered accountant and a blockchain consultant and a business coach. His company is called NAP Books Limited. He is, as I said, a CA with a career spanning from 2013. He specializes in business management, IT, process digitization, and architecture, with expertise in system development and implementation within ERP systems. Please welcome Abhishek Jain. And last but not least, I'd like to welcome Mr. Shubhendu Shaw, Head of HR Operations and Sales Productivity of Aditya Birla Sun Life Asset Management Limited. Shubhendu Shaw has over 20 years of experience in HR, and he's been instrumental in formulating and implementing talent management practices, reward programs, and performance management practices. Shubhendu is known for his expertise in HR operations and his passion for adventure activities and photography. He is excited to share his thoughts. Please welcome all three panelists on the stage. And I'm going to be a moderator for this event. I'm going to be grilling them. The first question is for Swapnil. It's to do with integration of HR tech, traditional HR practices. How can organizations seamlessly integrate advanced HR practices to foster culture that balances innovation with human touch? We saw what the results were when we did the Mentimeter session as well as to what people thought about human touch, especially in the context of Indian industry.
Thank you. That's a very, very interesting question. So honestly, human resource professionals, all of us present here, our job is actually to take care of the human part of the resources part. As simple as that, right? How much and at what time you introduce technology into all that you do is a call that every organization will take for itself. We are not copying any of the organizations. You have your unique journey as an organization. Some have evolved, some are evolving, and some are just starting at a nascent stage. So depending on your situation, your evolution roadmap, you decide how much tech you want to introduce. Technology can be as simple as an Excel, a PPT, a biometric system, to automation, digitization, going up to artificial learning, all of that. It depends what you want to integrate. So there are two parts to an HR's job. There are pieces that do not require human intervention, which I don't call high-tech or non-personalized time kind of a job. So payrolls, go ahead. But queries to payrolls, people. Right? Learning and development, you can make the entire chart. You can use AI to design the chart. So most of us know GRE, GMAT system. You start answering questions based on the difficulty. The machine at the back end will make the difficulty or the easier next question. Do the same in L&D because everybody is unique. Some people need a foundation course. Some people need an experience course. You can't put 20 people in a room and they all need the same kind of learning. So if you want to leverage AI, right, or tech, use for the evaluation. But when it comes to teaching them, like the gentleman before spoke about coaching, let an individual do that. So take out the high-tech pieces where you need lesser human intervention, put tools in that. But where you need human intervention, nobody's going to replace your roles as HR. No tech, no AI, nothing's going to replace. We need to be there. If it's a grievance resolution, you have to be there. So I'll give you a very simple example. 29th Feb in Foodsmeister, what we did, we put up QR codes. You click on the QR code and you register your grievance. It's put up in all our buses, it's put up in a canteen, it's put up in washrooms, it's put up in meeting rooms. We are based out of Goa. We have offices pan-India. That same QR code has gone to every office in India. Now, sitting here, I can get a grievance recorded. This is not functioning properly. This support I need, this did not happen. Any of it, starting from a shop floor, to uniform, to shoes, to sales office, and some of the things they did or did not get, to an induction, new joining, I did not know it. You get all the grievances. Collection is high tech. Who answers to those grievances is high touch. So it's going to be a combination of both. There will be places where you will leverage one more than the other, but you take that call, what works for your organization. So that's the long and short of it.
Well, thank you so much. Really, really like the different analogies and the different situations that you shared. Abhishek, you're a business guy. So, and what you're working on is very interesting in blockchain. We were having a conversation over lunch as well. So I'd love to hear from you that what are some game-changing things that you believe HR is going to see as far as tech is concerned?
Being a chartered accountant, turned into a technocrat and now sitting across all you great HRs is a difficult situation for me. But again, HRs are the core business. They are the core of a business. If they are not there, if they don't understand your business, they won't recruit the correct person. They won't be able to do the correct performance appraisals at the end of the day. So HRs are very core to any business. The first thing which I would say is HR should know the whole and soul of the business, how the business is run, where the cash flows are, and P&Ls are, everything. Now, coming to your question, what are the HR techs which will actually liberalize or change the role of HR? HR will be there. It may be that the functional things which they have been doing, repetitive tasks which they have been doing. So in accounting, we have multiple things which we have been doing. We have been doing data processing, data entries. What has happened to that? Some outsourcing agencies have taken over on that, or now they are being integrated with OCR and AI technology, so that the whole data is not required to be punched anywhere. It goes directly into the system. Same will happen with the HR activities. All the APIs which you guys are working right now. You have your monster.com APIs, you have your all this job site APIs integrated to your HRMS systems. And then those HRMS systems give you are directly integrated to some question bank or something like that. And that is again integrated to a AI system. Whole process can be minimalized on the part of human behavior. And again, while we consider that there will always be human behavior involved in HR activity. If there is some problem between two employees or an employee or his manager, the only person who can understand is a physical person. No technology can take it over. So that is one area is recruitment, where this technologies over the period will take over in the initial phase, in the shortlisting phase. Learning and development, as one said, learning and development is an area where technology is taking over hugely, because the course contents are the same. The self-paced learning is very important for today's world. We all understand that not everyone is having the same speed to capture things. So, as a chartered accountant, I can say there are courses in chartered. Now the chartered accountancy course, there are two subjects which are self-learn, self-speed basis. You learn, you have your own speed on those courses, and you clear the exam. There is no requirement that, so again, chartered accountancy is a very rigorous So when they can follow this, we can follow it for the internal training purposes. I mean, training purposes, AI will actually help out big role to play. Blockchain, I would say, is more of a technology where we can say it is kept of all the records, all the employment records go on blockchain. It will be easier to integrate for everyone. Anyone who wants to know that X person's data is their identity verification can become easier. You all might have done eKYCs. How many of you have done eKYCs for your employees? Again, this is the technology that has been there since last 15 years. And with Aadhaar eKYC, it has been there since last 5 years. We have not integrated that. How many of us has HRMS system? HR policy? Implemented HR policy? Again. So this is the core reason which technology adoption has a failure with, because we are not, our bases are not clear, and we try to integrate technology. AI can be integrated, but our base should be clear. Our processes should be streamlined as well as working in place. Also, thank you.
Thanks so much. Shubhendu, you've been driving rewards and performance management for the organization. Where do you think AI can take a decision and actually take decisions as far as humans are concerned? Would you let that happen? And where do you think AI can really play a role in things like that?
So, for performance management, talent management, we just mentioned that. So, these are very, very data intensive. So, AI can never take. AI will help us to. So, as I mentioned that these are data intensive. So, whether there is a use of technology or not, there is a lot of data being used at. Talent management, I just go beyond the true sense of talent management that we are looking at, especially time, etc. I will also look at retaining talent. I will also look at reducing attrition of people who don't want to go, and I will look at attraction of talent. So wherever you decide, it is AI will always help us in gathering data that we control. For example, when I'm trying to look at whether people are happy, who are the people who can interact with us. So there are various data points that we can use to integrate those data points and then say, okay, these are the people who are potential enterprises, and we can take them and speak to them, etc. When it comes to hiring, we can use AI to give us some data. So then to cut a long story short, it's AI. In my opinion, AI will not figure. AI will help us through data, because these are as it is data, whether it will be done here or being done on the airport.
Okay, I think Swapnil has a point there and she wants to say.
Concur. All I would like to add is, in recruitment, it helps us predict. So imagine if I could have a goal profile. This has been my best performing salesperson, or this person moved from junior sales to a senior sales leadership role, right? If I could just profile that, there will be data points through their journey, through their experiences, through the exposure, education pieces they picked up. You gave them geography, international exposure. So you have an ideal profile. Data will give you prediction, and when I'm looking out in the market for junior hiring, I would look at a better match. However, I would still continue with the interview, exactly like you said. So I completely concur, but it just reduces the time and the cost of this entire exercise. It is very, very intensive. The number of hours the leadership and the entire management spends in hiring. Not just it's time that's converted into money, like the CSS, and there's always this gut feeling. What are you hiring for? There are no constant parameters, because it changes from one leader to another leader to one hiring manager to another. So when you get predictability into the system and then you use that little human interface, you'll get the best match. So I just wanted to add.
Thanks.
I will just add to this. if a HR recruiter is able to use this data, he has the time or she has time to actually work on policy decisions, implementation decisions, which actually gets carried away because of just hiring. In IT, this happens a lot. If I have a target of getting 50 people, my HR will be like, okay. If it is a 500, it will be something else. So that has to come on the data-driven basis anyway.
Well, I just want to quickly share that my match, the company that's we built, does all of writing the job description to sourcing candidates from 920 million people, taking the decision on screening, assessment, interviewing is all AI driven. And so I completely disagree with a lot of what has been said, but what we do is just give 6 candidates or less, 6 candidates or less from millions of people for humans to take a decision. Yeah. Okay, with that, I'm going to quickly just open it up for the audience. Any questions that anyone would have?
You have to decide what metrics work. What metrics actually gives the reading of that or reading of that. That is the answer.